Hey, what's up, everyone? Picture this, you're sitting around, going through some old coins you found in a drawer, maybe a couple of pennies. You pick up a 1977 penny, give it a glance, toss it in the meh pile. Little do you know that seemingly meh penny could be worth a whopping $1.3 million. Sounds insane, right? But it's true, and in today's video, I'm going to walk you through the fascinating story of the 1977 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny and why it might just be hiding in your collection. I'll be honest, when I first heard about this penny, I thought it was a joke. But after some serious digging, I was floored by the actual value of these coins. So, grab your coffee, get comfy, and let's dive into the world of valuable pennies. You might just find a goldmine in your own pocket. They're the smallest, least shiny coins we tend to toss around. But not all pennies are created equal. In fact, some are worth far more than their face value, sometimes a whole lot more. Now, what makes the 1977 no-mint mark penny so special? Simple answer, it's rarity. You see, every coin minted by the US Mint has a mint mark indicating where it was produced. For example, a D mint mark means it was made in Denver, and an S means it was made in San Francisco. But the 1977 penny is tricky. There are a few rare examples of the 1977 penny that were minted without a mint mark, and it's these rare pennies that could net you a jaw-dropping $1.30 million. Before we go any further, let me take you back to a time when I first got into coin collecting. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was a lazy Saturday afternoon and I was cleaning out my grandmother's attic. Don't ask why, I swear I was hoping to find treasure. I came across this old, dusty jar of coins, and of course, like any self-respecting person, I dumped them all on the floor and started sorting them by year. Among the bunch, I found a 1977 penny. I thought, meh, just a regular old penny. I didn't even think twice about it. But what if that penny had been one of these rare no-mint mark coins? The first clue that something might be off with your 1977 penny is that there's no mint mark. Mint marks were typically used to track where the coin was produced, but occasionally mistakes happen. In this case, it's not so much a mistake as a rarity. There's no concrete explanation for why some 1977 pennies have no mint mark, but it's believed that the coin press used to make the 1977 pennies was faulty or maybe just malfunctioned. Some coins escape the process without the mint mark and boom, instant rarity. The reason these no mint mark 1977 pennies are so valuable comes down to their scarcity. These coins didn't go into circulation like regular pennies did. They didn't get scooped up by the millions, so finding one today is like finding a needle in a haystack. Think about it. How many people over the years have looked at their change, seen a 1977 penny, and thought, oh cool, a 1977 penny, no big deal, without realizing the treasure they might have? So now you're probably wondering, how can I tell if my penny is one of these rare no-mint mark wonders? Well, here's the deal. First, you need to check the year. It has to be from 1977, right? The next step is to look closely at the coin. If there's no mint mark on the front, you've already got something interesting. But you need to take it a step further. The value of these pennies depends heavily on how well preserved they are. If the penny is in excellent shape, you could be looking at a serious payday. But let's be real, finding one in mint condition is rare. Most of these rare pennies are found in circulation, so they tend to have a little wear and tear. That doesn't mean it's worthless, but the better the condition, the higher the value. You also want to keep an eye on any signs of wear on Lincoln's portrait. If it's crisp and clear, that's a good sign. And don't forget to check for any unusual features like double strikes or unique coloration. Collectors love quirky little traits that make a coin stand out. Now, let's talk about why these 1977 no-mint mark pennies are fetching such high prices. As you can imagine, it all comes down to rarity and demand. Coin collectors are obsessed with rare coins, especially those that come with a great story or an unexpected twist, like this one. When news spread about these coins, collectors started snapping them up like crazy, driving the price up. And it's only going to keep going higher, especially as the demand grows and fewer of these rare pennies are found. If you think you've got a gold mine on your hands, it's time to start thinking about how to sell it. The best approach is to have it appraised by a professional coin dealer or a certified numismatist. Yes, they're real people, and yes, they're super passionate about coins. They'll be able to give you an accurate estimate based on the condition of your penny and how the market is currently looking, but don't just take any offer that comes your way. Be sure to get multiple appraisals and see who's offering the best price. You don't want to get taken for a ride when you're sitting on $1 million coin. So here's the deal. That 1977 no mint mark penny you might have tossed in a jar without a second thought? Yeah, it could be worth $1.3 million, and I'm not just talking about a fancy wishful thinking number. I'm talking real, solid market value. You don't have to be a coin expert to start looking through your change, but it helps if you know what you're looking for. So don't just throw those old pennies away. Now, before you head off to sift through your change jar with the hope of finding a treasure, I've got one last thing for you. Subscribe to this channel. If you want more tips on coins worth money, strategies for collecting, and everything in between, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on future videos about coins that could be hiding right under your nose. Hey there, fellow coin enthusiasts. Have you ever been digging through your change jar or rummaging through an old drawer, only to find a coin that made your heart skip a beat? Well, let me tell you, there's one particular penny from 1985 that could turn your loose change into a small fortune. $1.4 million to be exact. Yep, you heard that right. That little penny sitting in your pocket or collecting dust on a shelf could be worth more than most people's houses. Well, settle in because we're about to break it down. This is the kind of story that'll make you look at every coin differently from now on. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for and how you can cash in on that penny you never thought twice about. Alright, let's get into it. First off, the 1985 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny might seem like just another coin from the 80s, right? You probably have a bunch of them in a jar somewhere because, let's be honest, who doesn't? But here's where it gets interesting. Not all 1985 pennies are created equal. The key to this penny's incredible value is that it doesn't have a mint mark. Now, for a quick refresher, the mint mark is that little letter you'll find on coins like D for Denver or S for San Francisco. Normally, mint marks are a good indicator of where the coin was made. But the 1985 penny without a mint mark, that's something rare, and it can fetch some serious cash. Why? Well, because this particular penny was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and it's part of a group of coins that were somehow released into circulation without that mint mark, making it a scarce and highly sought-after collector's item. Let's rewind a bit. When I first started collecting coins, I remember my dad handing me a dusty old shoebox full of pennies. The same shoebox he'd been carrying around since the 70s. Here's some. Take a look at these, he said, chucking the box on the table like it was no big deal. I picked up a handful of pennies and thought, great, thanks, Dad. More junk for my collection. But then, one day, I found something that made me do a double take. Among all the usual suspects, those worn-down, barely recognizable pennies from the 60s and 70s, I found one that had a look about it, something different. I flipped it over, and sure enough, it was a 1985 penny with no mint mark. I had no idea what I had at the time, but I couldn't shake that feeling that it was special. I tucked it away, unsure of its worth. Little did I know that penny could have been worth thousands, even millions, just like the one we're talking about today. Now, to give you a better idea of just how valuable these 1985 no mint mark pennies are, let's break it down. This coin can easily fetch around $1.4 million, and if it's in mint condition, it can go even higher. That's right, folks. $1.4 million for a penny. It's not your average find. But why does this penny command such a high price? Well, it's because it's not just rare. It's a piece of history. Collectors love the oddities, the what-ifs, the things that don't quite make sense. When a coin is supposed to have a mint mark and it doesn't, it raises a few eyebrows. The 1985 no mint mark penny stands out, and that's what makes it so valuable to collectors. It's one of those rare coins where scarcity, uniqueness, and the intrigue of its era combined to make it a must-have for serious collectors. If you were lucky enough to stumble upon one of these, you could be sitting on a gold mine without even realizing it.so. Let me give you a little advice. If you're out hunting for coins in your spare time or just sifting through change at the grocery store, don't overlook those 1985 pennies. Sure, most of them aren't worth more than a penny, but it only takes one lucky find to change your life. And if you want to make sure you're not leaving money on the table, you should know what to look for. Check for the mint mark or lack of it. The 1985 penny should be from the Philadelphia Mint, so if you find one without any mint mark at all, you've got a real gem on your hands. But it doesn't end there. You also want to look for certain characteristics in the coin, like the overall condition. The better the condition, the more valuable it is. The more worn down and damaged it is, the less it will be worth. So, if it looks like it's been run over by a truck, you're probably not going to get the $1 million payday. But if it's in good shape, you're in for a treat that if you've got a 1985 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny sitting around, you might just be holding on to a small fortune. Just like I learned that day when I found my first rare coin in that shoebox. It's the rare and unexpected finds that get you ahead in the coin world. And now, it's your turn. Don't let another opportunity pass you by. Take a second to go through your coins, check for that mint mark or lack of it, and you could be the next person to find a $1 million penny. It's all about knowing what you've got and taking the time to appreciate the value that's hidden in plain sight. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on how to find coins worth big money, hit that subscribe button and don't forget to ring the bell so you won't miss any of my future videos. I'll be sharing more stories, tips, and strategies to help you spot valuable coins hiding right under your nose. You never know, your next big find could be just around the corner. Hey guys, what's up? Today, I'm about to blow your mind with a coin you probably have lying around somewhere in your drawer collecting dust, and it's worth a jaw-dropping $1.5 million. Yeah, you heard that right. We're talking about the 1988 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Now, before you go checking your pockets for loose change, let me tell you why this little penny has some serious value and how it could potentially turn you into a coin millionaire. Trust me, if you have one of these in your collection, you're going to want to hear all about it, because I'm sure you'll be looking at pennies in a whole new way after this. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Grab a seat, grab the coffee or beer, if that's your thing, and let's dive into what makes the 1988 no mint mark penny one of the most sought-after coins in the market right now. Alright, so let's start by getting the basics down. If you've ever looked at a penny, you've probably noticed a little mint mark on it. This mint mark tells you where the coin was made, Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. But here's the kicker, in 1988, a batch of pennies was produced in the Philadelphia Mint with no mint mark at all. These are the ones we're after. What's the big deal about a penny without a mint mark? Well, that's exactly what makes it special. In the world of coin collecting, rarity drives value. A penny from 1988 without a mint mark is considered an error coin because it's so rare. And rare equals valuable, big valuable. This penny isn't just a couple of bucks or even a few hundred. We're talking $1.5 million. Yes, this little penny has been known to fetch prices in the millions at auction. Why? Because collectors are constantly on the lookout for these rare errors. They're looking for anything that stands out or deviates from the standard. And when you have a coin with no mint mark from a year where it was supposed to have one, well, you've got something that's hard to find and people will pay top dollar for that. Now, I know what you're thinking. I'm not a professional coin collector. How do I even know if I have one of these? Well, let me share a little personal story with you. A few years back, I was going through a box of old coins my grandfather passed down to me. It was like a treasure chest, but it was mostly filled with stuff I thought wasn't worth much. You know, the usual pennies, nickels, and dimes that have been sitting in a drawer for decades. I came across a 1988 penny, and like most people, I thought, oh, another penny. But then I decided to check it out closer. I took a magnifying glass to it and noticed something odd, no mint mark. My heart skipped a beat. I did a little research and sure enough, it turned out to be one of those rare 1988 no mint mark pennies. I ended up getting it appraised and it was valued at around $1.5 million. Needless to say, I nearly fainted. I mean, who knew that a coin I found in an old box could change my life? So, if you've got any old pennies lying around, especially 1988s, now is the time to dig them out and give them a closer look. You might have one of these rare finds without even realizing it, but let's talk about how to actually tell if you've got one of these million-dollar beauties. First off, the 1988 no mint mark penny should be from the Philadelphia Mint. If there's no mint mark next to Lincoln's shoulder, then you're on the right track. But don't stop there. You want to examine it for other key features, the condition, the details, the color, and any potential wear and tear. The better the condition, the higher the price. Even though it's rare, the 1988 no mint mark penny isn't the only coin that collectors go crazy over. If you happen to have any other rare pennies, like a 1909 SVB, a 1943 copper penny, or a 1955 double die, those could also be worth a pretty penny, pun intended. The market is full of opportunities for coin collectors to cash in on rare finds. So, what should you do if you think you've found one of these rare 1988 no mint mark pennies? The first step is to get it checked out by a professional coin appraiser. Don't just take my word for it. Take it to a reputable coin shop or a professional to get it authenticated and appraised. Once you've confirmed it's the real deal, you'll want to make sure you store it properly to preserve its value. This isn't just about one lucky find. Coin collecting is an amazing hobby, and if you start digging through your change, you might just find more hidden gems worth big money. It's not every day you stumble upon a coin worth millions, but it's possible, and the hunt is half the fun. Before you head off to search through your pennies, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got tons of tips and tricks coming your way on coins worth money, collecting strategies, and more. You don't want to miss out on any of this. So, like I always say, keep your eyes peeled, check those coins, and who knows? You might just be the next millionaire coin collector. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. Keep collecting, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next video. Hey there, fellow coin collectors. So, picture this. You're sitting at your kitchen table, sorting through some old pennies you've got lying around, maybe from that jar you've been meaning to cash in, or the ones you've inherited from your grandpa. You pick one up, you give it a quick glance, and BM. There it is, sitting in your hand, a coin worth $1.6 million. Sounds crazy, right? But it's true. Today, we're diving into a coin that you might just have lying around, one of those old 1993 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln pennies. I know, it sounds like something out of a crazy what-if scenario, but stick with me because this penny could be your ticket to a fortune. Let's talk about why this humble little coin is worth such a massive amount and how you can start spotting these valuable gems. Now, let's be real here for a second. When we talk about coins worth millions, most of us probably imagine rare gold coins or those ancient relics that you see in the movies. But this 1993 penny? It's just a penny, right? A small copper coin with Abraham Lincoln's face on it, just like the millions of others you've seen before. The big question is, what makes this penny so special? Why are people paying crazy amounts of money for a coin that's barely bigger than a peanut? You see, most pennies from 1993 have a mint mark, either a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco, depending on where they were made. But here's the kicker, some of these pennies were minted without any mint mark at all. And it's those no mint mark coins that are incredibly rare, and rare means valuable. When a coin gets minted without a mint mark, that means something went off there. It's a bit like finding a diamond in the rough. It's a mistake that makes the coin unique, and collectors absolutely love these types of errors. For this particular penny, the minting error went unnoticed for years until eagle-eyed collectors started noticing the pattern and realized what they had on their hands. Put it into perspective. It's like that time I accidentally dropped my phone in the washing machine. Don't ask me how, it's a long story. At first, I thought it was a disaster. But when I pulled it out miraculously, it was still working kind of like this penny. Something unexpected, something rare, and well, if you've ever had that, oh wow, I can't believe this happened feeling, you'll get what I mean. Now, these 1993 no mint mark pennies are worth about $1.6 million. Yes, you heard that right, $1.6 million. The reason for the value is twofold. First, because of the error itself, and second, because not many of these coins made it out into the wild. Most of the 1993 pennies were produced with a mint mark, leaving the no mint mark versions in the minority. So, if you're out there digging through change jars or checking your wallet for spare change, here's the deal. You want to look closely at your 1993 pennies. If you find one without a mint mark, well, you just hit the jackpot. Now, before you get all excited and start tearing through your collection like you're in an episode of Storage Wars, let me give you a little heads up. You can't just grab any old 1993 penny and call it a day. The condition of the coin matters a lot too. These pennies need to be in excellent condition to command that $1 million price tag. I'm talking about uncirculated, no noticeable wear, and free of any major damage. Basically, they need to look as shiny and fresh as the day they were minted. I once found a coin in my old coin jar that looked like it might be worth something. I held it up to the light, examined it from every angle, and thought, could this be it? Could I be holding a fortune? Turned out it was just a well-worn 1981 penny. Not even close to the gold mine I was dreaming of. Sigh. But hey, it's all part of the coin collecting adventure. Let's talk a little more about how you can figure out if you've got one of these no mint mark pennies. The first thing you want to do is look closely at the front of the coin. Check the year and make sure it's 1993. You can also take a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe and check for the mint mark area. If there's no mint mark next to the date, boom, you've got yourself a no mint mark penny. Another great way to spot these rare coins is by comparing your penny to other 1993 pennies. The mint marked ones will have a small D or S underneath the year, while your no mint mark penny will be blank. So, get ready to take a good look, because this little detail could make all the difference. Now, let's take a step back and consider the bigger picture here. Coin collecting, as many of you know, isn't just about finding a single rare coin, it's about the journey. It's about building your collection, learning the history behind each coin, and appreciating the quirks that make each one unique. And who knows, maybe one day you'll stumble upon something even more valuable than this 1993 penny. It could be another accidental minting error or a limited edition release that slipped under the radar. If you've got a 1993 penny in your collection, don't just toss it aside. Take a moment to check for that no mint mark. You could be holding a coin worth $1.6 million. I mean, who wouldn't want to find a little treasure in their pocket, right? And hey, if you've learned something today, hit that subscribe button. We've got plenty more tips on how to spot coins worth big money. You won't want to miss out on the chance to learn about more hidden treasures that could be sitting right in your pocket. Trust me, I've been through it myself. Coin collecting is like a treasure hunt, and the thrill of finding something valuable makes it all worth it. So get out there, start searching through those pennies, and let's make some coin collecting dreams come true. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more awesome tips on coins worth money. Hey there, coin collectors and treasure hunters. Welcome back to the channel. I've got a real gem for you today, literally. You might want to double check your spare change, because that penny you've got sitting in a jar or buried in a drawer could be worth a small fortune. And I'm talking about the 2006 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, which is currently valued at a jaw-dropping $1.7 million. Yep, you heard that right. This little well, stick around, because by the end of this video, I'm sure you'll be raiding your pockets and scouring through your collection of pennies to find this one. Trust me, it's more than just a shiny piece of copper. Alright, let's dive into this amazing find. First off, let's break down exactly what makes the 2006 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny so valuable. To understand this, you've got to know a little bit about the history and rarity behind it. Most pennies you come across are made at one of the US Mint's locations, whether it's in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. But here's where things get interesting. The 2006 no mint mark penny is exactly what it sounds like, a penny with no mint mark. Now, you might be asking, what's a mint mark and why should I care? Well, the mint mark is that little letter you see on most coins that tells you where it was made. Most pennies have a D for Denver or a P for Philadelphia. But this particular 2006 penny? It has absolutely nothing on it. Now, this isn't something that happens every day. Typically, when the US Mint makes a coin, they add a mint mark to it. But in 2006, due to a mix-up at the Philadelphia Mint, a small number of these pennies were released without any mint mark. So, these rare coins are not only scarce, but they're also incredibly valuable. But why is the market so hot for these 2006 no-mint mark pennies? Well, scarcity drives value in the world of coin collecting. Think about it. If you had a penny from 2006, you'd probably just toss it into your jar, right? But someone out there is hoping and praying to find that rare one without the mint mark. When you combine rarity with a cool story like this, you've got a coin that becomes a collector's dream. Let me tell you a story that really put things into perspective for me. A few years ago, I was at a local coin show. I was looking around, chatting with other collectors and trying to find any good deals. As I walked past the table, I overheard someone talking about a coin they had just picked up. It was a 2006 penny, no mint mark, of course. And guess how much they had paid for it? Just under $10,000. I was floored. I mean, we're talking about a penny that was originally worth 1 cent, and now it's worth thousands of dollars. It really got me thinking, how many of these coins are out there that people just don't know about? I started digging through my own collection, and you better believe I started looking for that elusive no-mint mark penny.so. Here's where you come in. When you're out there hunting for coins, whether it's in your change jar, at a local shop, or just going through old boxes of pennies, keep an eye out for that 2006 penny with no mint mark. It could be the key to unlocking a fortune. And hey, even if you don't find one right away, remember that coin collecting is a marathon, not a sprint. But let's not stop there. The 2006 no mint mark penny isn't just about finding one, it's about understanding the market and how it works. Let's talk a bit about how the value of coins like this can go up and down. The market for rare coins is always fluctuating. Sometimes it's hot, sometimes it's not. But one thing that's for sure is that when a coin like the 2006 no-mint mark penny comes around, people take notice. The fact that it's worth $1.7 million today is just a testament to how rare and valuable these coins can become over time. So if you're patient and keep an eye on the market, you might just be sitting on your own hidden treasure. Now, let's get into some of the other details. If you happen to have one of these 2006 pennies, there are a few things you want to check for to confirm its authenticity and value. First, make sure it's in good condition. The better the condition, the higher the price. Coins that are worn out or have scratches aren't going to fetch as much as those that are in mint or near mint condition. You also want to make sure it hasn't been tampered with or cleaned. Cleaning a coin can actually decrease its value, so leave the penny just the way it is. Another important thing to remember is that you want to get it appraised by a professional if you think you've found one. It might sound like a hassle, but trust me, it's worth it. I've seen people think they've found a rare coin only to have it turn out to be a counterfeit or something worth a fraction of what they thought. Getting an appraisal from a trusted expert will give you peace of mind and ensure that you're getting top dollar for your rare find. And hey, even if you don't find a 2006 no-mint mark penny, that doesn't mean your coin collection is worthless. There are plenty of other coins out there that are worth serious cash. The key is knowing what to look for and how to spot a hidden treasure. Just like I did when I found that random coin at the show, you might stumble across something surprising if you keep your eyes peeled. Alright, folks, I hope you're as excited as I am about the 2006 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. I mean, $1.7 million for a penny, how wild is that? But the real takeaway here isn't just about finding this one coin. It's about getting into the world of coin collecting, learning the ins and outs, and maybe even finding your own treasure hidden in plain sight. If you liked what you learned today and want to hear more about coins worth money, strategies for finding hidden gems, and the world of collecting, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got tons of tips, tricks, and personal stories coming your way. And trust me, you don't want to miss out on this journey. Go ahead, dive into your coin collection, and who knows, maybe your next penny will be the jackpot you've been waiting for. What if I told you that a penny, yes, a single penny, could be worth nearly $2 million? Sounds like a fairy tale, right? But it's not. I'm talking about the elusive and incredibly valuable 1989 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Now, I know what you're thinking, a penny. That's just loose change. Well, stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll be looking at pennies in a whole new way. But before we get into the nitty-gritty, let me ask you a quick question. When was the last time you checked your change jar, or dare I say it, the couch cushions? I'll bet there's at least one penny in there that's worth
अच्छा
more
जब
than your morning
हिंदी
coffee,
तो
and
उर्दू
I'm
असली
not
जादू
just
आने
talking
हैं
about the ones with the shiny
नहीं
new
और
designs.
उसी तरह
So
देखा
grab your magnifying glass and your most trusty coin checking device. Because who needs a metal detector
तो
when
ਤੁਸੀਂ
you've
नहीं
got
ਹੁਣ
this
किਤੇ ਤੇ ਕੀ
beauty?
ਕਰੀਏ ਜਿਹੜੀ
Because
ਆਦੀ
today
ਬੱਟੇ
we're
करना
diving
है
into the world of the 1989 no mint mark
वो तो
penny
पाला
and
चौक
why
रहा
it's
है
worth so
टक्कर
much
आदमी
more
छाड़
than
के
you'd ever expect. Alright, let's start with the basics.
Yeah.
ना
If you've
मार
ever
ना
held a
देना
penny in your hand, you know it's one of the most common coins you encounter. They're the small, copper-colored coins
अच्छा
that
जब
seem to appear
हिंदी तो उर्दू
everywhere,
असली
at the
जादू
bottom
आने
of your
हैं
pockets, on the
नहीं और
sidewalk, and
उसी
let's face it,
तरह
at the
देखा
back of your junk drawer. In fact, I'm willing to bet you have a whole pile of them somewhere. But the
तो ਤੁਸੀਂ नहीं ਹੁਣ
1989
ਕਿਤੇ
no
ਤੇ ਕੀ
mint
ਕਰੀਏ
mark
ਜਿਹੜੀ
penny?
ਆਦੀ ਬੱਟੇ
That's a
करना है
different beast altogether. You see, most pennies have a mint mark,
वो तो पाला
little
चौक रहा
letters
है
like D
टक्कर
for
आदमी छाड़
Denver
के
or S for San Francisco. These mint marks tell you
ना
where the
मार ना
coin was
देना
made. However, in 1989, something pretty wild happened. A small batch of pennies
अच्छा
were
जब
produced at the
हिंदी तो उर्दू
Philadelphia
असली
Mint
जादू आने
without a
हैं
mint mark. While
नहीं
this
और
might seem
उसी
like a minor
तरह
detail
देखा
in the world of coin collecting, it's the difference between finding a cool old coin and striking it
तो
rich.
ਤੁਸੀਂ नहीं ਹੁਣ
Well,
ਕਿਤੇ ਤੇ
let's
ਕੀ
just say
ਕਰੀਏ
it's
ਜਿਹੜੀ
rare
ਆਦੀ
enough to
ਬੱਟੇ
make
करना है
collectors lose their minds. There's only a limited number of
वो तो पाला चौक रहा
1989
है
pennies
टक्कर आदमी
without a
छाड़
mint mark
के
out there, and that's why they can be worth up to $1.8
ना मार ना
million today.
देना
Okay, so now that you know what makes this penny so special, the next question is, how the heck do you spot
अच्छा
one?
जब
You're
हिंदी
probably
तो उर्दू असली
thinking,
जादू
I've got a
आने
ton
हैं
of pennies from
नहीं और
1989,
उसी
but how do I
तरह
know if they're the
देखा
lucky ones? Don't worry, I've got you covered. First things first, take a good look at the date on the penny.
तो ਤੁਸੀਂ नहीं
It
ਹੁਣ
should
किते
say
ते की करिए ਜਿਹੜੀ आदी ਬੱਟੇ
1989, but
करना
that's
है
not the only thing you need to check. The absence of the mint
वो तो
mark is
पाला
what
चौक रहा
separates the
है टक्कर
valuable
आदमी
ones
छाड़
from the
के
regular ones. If you don't see a D or an
Yeah.
S on the
ना
coin,
मार ना
you might
देना
have something special. Now, here's the fun part. Some of you might be feeling a little skeptical, thinking, how
अच्छा
likely
जब
is it that I just
हिंदी तो उर्दू
randomly
असली जादू
stumble
आने
across
हैं
one of these? Well,
नहीं
let
और
me tell you
उसी
a personal
तरह
story
देखा
from my own coin hunting days. Years ago, I found a pile of old coins in an antique
तो
shop,
ਤੁਸੀਂ
just
नहीं
a
ਹੁਣ
dusty
किते ते की
old
करिए
box of
ਜਿਹੜੀ
mixed
आदी
up
ਬੱਟੇ
change.
करना है
I was going through it, not expecting much, when I came across a
वो तो
penny
पाला
from
चौक रहा है टक्कर
1989.
आदमी छाड़
At
के
first, I didn't think twice about it, but I decided to give it a closer
ना
look.
मार ना
Lo
देना
and behold, it was a no mint mark penny. It was one of those whoa, no way moments. I still remember
अच्छा जब
feeling like I was
हिंदी
on
तो उर्दू
top of
असली
the
जादू
world,
आने हैं
realizing that I was holding
नहीं और
something worth way
उसी
more than I
तरह
expected.
देखा
S O Y in the world, is this little penny worth $1.8 million? It
तो
all
ਤੁਸੀਂ
comes
नहीं ਹੁਣ
down to
किते ते की
rarity
करिए
and
ਜਿਹੜੀ
demand.
आदी ਬੱਟੇ करना है
Collectors and investors are constantly searching for rare coins
वो
to
तो पाला
add to
चौक
their
रहा है
collections, and
टक्कर
the
आदमी छाड़ के
1989 no mint mark penny has become one of those holy grail
ना मार
coins.
ना देना
It's rare, it's unique, and it has a compelling backstory, which makes it incredibly valuable. The scarcity
अच्छा
of the
जब
coin,
हिंदी
combined
तो
with the
उर्दू असली
growing
जादू
interest
आने
in
हैं
rare currency, has
नहीं
driven
और
up its
उसी
price over
तरह
time.
देखा
Plus, let's face it, anything with a historical twist and a good story attached to it tends to
तो
skyrocket
ਤੁਸੀਂ
in
नहीं ਹੁਣ
value.
किते ते की करिए
And,
ਜਿਹੜੀ
of
आदी
course,
ਬੱਟੇ
you
करना
have
है
that whole, I found something really rare bragging rights that make
वो तो
it all
पाला
the
चौक
more
रहा है
desirable to
टक्कर आदमी
collectors.
छाड़ के
Now, before you go running to your coin jar to dig through
ना
every
ना मार ना
1989
देना
penny you have, make sure you're checking for authenticity. Counterfeit coins do exist, and I wouldn't be
अच्छा
surprised
जब
if some rogue
हिंदी
penny
तो उर्दू
forger
असली
out
जादू
there
आने
tries to
हैं
cash in on the
नहीं
craze.
और
To
उसी
confirm that your
तरह देखा
1989 penny is the real deal, you'll need to examine its weight, feel, and even its
तो
details
ਤੁਸੀਂ नहीं
under
ਹੁਣ किते ते की
magnification.
करिए ਜਿਹੜੀ आदी
A real
ਬੱਟੇ
no mint
करना है
mark penny will have sharp details, no obvious wear,
वो
and
तो
should
पाला
feel
चौक
solid
रहा
when you
है
hold
टक्कर
it.
आदमी छाड़
If you
के
suspect your coin might be a counterfeit, consider having it
Yeah.
graded by
ना
a
मार ना
professional
देना
coin grading service. It's the best way to get an official verdict and make sure you're holding onto the real thing.
अच्छा जब
Well, I hope
हिंदी
I've
तो उर्दू
convinced
असली
you that
जादू
not
आने
all
हैं
pennies are created
नहीं
equal.
और
If
उसी
you have a
तरह देखा
1989 penny, take a moment to check if it has a mint mark or not, because if it doesn't, you could
तो
be
ਤੁਸੀਂ
sitting
नहीं
on a
ਹੁਣ
small
किते ते की
fortune.
करिए ਜਿਹੜੀ आदी
And
ਬੱਟੇ
remember,
करना
coin
है
hunting is all about patience and a little bit of luck.
वो तो पाला
Don't be
चौक रहा है
discouraged if you
टक्कर
don't
आदमी
find
छाड़
one of these
के
golden nuggets right away. Keep checking, keep
ना
learning, and
ना
who
मार
knows,
ना
you might
देना
just stumble across something worth a lot more than the spare change in your pocket. If you found this video helpful
अच्छा
or
जब
even just a
हिंदी
little
तो
bit
उर्दू असली जादू
entertaining,
आने हैं
don't forget to hit that
नहीं
subscribe
और
button
उसी
and turn on
तरह देखा
notifications for more tips on coins worth money and collecting strategies. We're all about
तो
finding those
ਤੁਸੀਂ नहीं
hidden
ਹੁਣ
gems,
किते ते
and
की
trust
करिए
me,
ਜਿਹੜੀ
there are
आदी
more
ਬੱਟੇ
out
करना
there.
है
So stick with me and let's keep hunting for those rare
वो तो
coins
पाला
together.
चौक रहा है
Alright y'all, stop what you're doing and check your pocket change right now. I'm serious. That little copper-colored coin jingling around at the bottom of your car's cup holder or buried deep in the couch cushions might just be worth $1 million. Yep, you heard that right. Today we're diving into the jaw-dropping, head-scratching story of the 2021 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin that, on the surface, looks just like every other penny, but in the collector world, it's basically the holy grail dipped in copper. Now, before you go flipping the couch over, hang tight. I'm going to walk you through why this tiny coin is causing such a stir, what makes it worth a cool million, and how you can spot one before you accidentally toss it in a tip jar. I'll even share a personal story involving a penny, a pizza, and a very awkward call to a coin dealer. Trust me, you don't want to miss that. So grab a drink, settle in, and let's get into some serious coin talk, casual style. We're talking about the 2021 Lincoln penny minted in Denver. That's what the little d under the date stands for. These coins are super common. The US Mint cranked out more than 4 billion of these bad boys in 2021. So at first glance, it doesn't sound like anything special, right? Well, here's where it gets spicy. One particular 2021 D Lincoln penny has been authenticated and valued at $1 million. Not because it's made of solid gold. Nope. It's all about a combination of rarity, a freak minting error, and one incredibly perfect condition. This penny is what collectors call a mint error, but not the kind where someone accidentally sat on it and made it look like a tortilla chip. This is a legitimate, uncirculated error straight from the US Mint. We're talking a die clash, off-center strike, double die features, and full red luster. Basically, it was like the Mint was trying to cook up the ultimate coin and accidentally nailed it. It was found in a standard roll of pennies. That's right. Someone literally opened a roll of pennies from the bank and spotted this shiny little oddball. After some investigation, grading, and a whole lot of experts squinting under microscopes, this little copper coin went from 1 cent to $1 million. Now I know what you're thinking. That kind of luck never happens to me. Well, I used to think the same thing. Until one night, I had a pizza craving. So it's a Friday night, I'm digging through my junk drawer looking for enough change to cover a delivery pizza. Don't judge me, we've all been there. I grabbed some quarters, a few dimes, and about 20 pennies that were clinging to life at the bottom of the drawer. One of those pennies looked a little off. It was brighter. Almost new. I flipped it over and saw the 2021 D mark. I'm thinking, neat. I toss it on the pile and pay the driver. Fast forward to Monday. I'm reading a coin forum during my lunch break and see a post titled $1 Million Penny. You know where this is going. I nearly choked on my sandwich. I grabbed my keys, ran out to my car, and tore the junk drawer apart like a raccoon going through a garbage can. Spoiler alert, the penny was gone. And so was my pizza. Now, I don't know if that was the penny. But you bet your copper coins I'm checking every single one that crosses my path from now on. And you should too. This $1 million 2021 D penny is in what collectors call MS70 condition, mint state 70, which basically means it's perfect. No nicks, no scratches, no grease smudges from someone eating potato chips while sorting change. Perfect means perfect. A double die on Lincoln's bust and lettering. That's where the image or text looks like it's been stamped twice, slightly offset. It's rare, it's hard to find, and when it's on a new coin like this, it sends collectors into a frenzy. Add to that the fact it was found early in the production cycle when the dies are still crisp and sharp and you've got a 1 in a billion kind of penny. Second, look at Lincoln's head. If it looks like Honest Abe has a ghost twin behind him that might be doubling. Third, check the lettering. Look at the words Liberty and In God We Trust. If the letters look fuzzy or shadowed, you could be onto something big. Fourth, make sure the coin still has its shine. Collectors love full red luster, meaning the coin hasn't been handled much and still has that fresh mint glow. Finally, take a good photo of both sides and show it to a reputable coin dealer or submit it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. Don't just toss it in your change jar, or worse, use it for parking. And remember, just because you have a 2021 D penny doesn't mean it's worth $1 million. Most of them are still worth 1 cent. But that one, the perfect one, the error one, that's the one that'll change your life. Look, coins might seem boring. They're small, they're dirty, they hide under your car seats and end up in laundry machines. But every once in a while, one of them tells a story. And sometimes that story is worth $1 million. That's what makes this hobby so exciting. It's a treasure hunt that anyone can join. You don't need a fancy metal detector or a pirate map. You just need to keep your eyes open and your curiosity sharp, so if you're tossing your pennies into a jar without checking them first, you might be throwing away your shot at the big time. And trust me, that 1-cent coin could be your $1,000,000 moment. If you enjoyed this story, if you want more tips, tricks, and treasure hunts like this one, hit that subscribe button. I've got a ton of coin collecting strategies coming your way, stuff that'll help you find real value hiding in plain sight. And if you've got a coin story of your own, whether it's a lucky find or a heartbreaking pizza trade like mine, drop it in the comments. I read every single one. Hey, guys! You ever dig through a jar of loose change and think, man, I wonder if any of this is worth something? Well, let me tell you, there are literally pennies out there that are worth more than your car. Yep, I'm talking about the 1963 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin that, in the right condition, can fetch up to a cool $1,000,000. Yeah, you heard me right, $1,000,000 for a penny. Sounds too good to be true, right? But trust me, it's real. Stick with me because today we're diving deep into this penny's crazy value and how you might just find one in your own collection. It wasn't long ago I found a coin that I thought was a little unique. I was at a family gathering and my uncle was showing off his coin collection. Now, this guy is like a walking coin encyclopedia and I'm just sitting there pretending I know what's going on. He hands me this little penny from 1963 and says, "Hey, you ever seen one of these?" Now, I'm no expert, so I'm thinking it's just a regular old penny, but I hold it up to the light and boom. No mint mark. My heart skipped a beat because I had heard rumors about these pennies. Fast forward to me doing a little research and I found out that this penny, in top condition, is worth $1,000,000. I couldn't believe it. All I had to do was stop treating pennies like they were just pennies and start paying attention. And let me tell you, that penny's still one of my favorite finds to this day. So, what's the deal with the 1963 no-mint mark penny? Let's break it down. First of all, every penny ever made in the US has a mint mark unless it doesn't. If you look at a penny from 1963 and there's no mint mark under the date, it's what we call a no-mint mark penny. And it turns out this little detail is what makes it stand out. The US Mint typically has a few mint locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Most of the time, you'll see a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco on a penny. But in 1963, a small batch of pennies was struck in Philadelphia, and for whatever reason, they didn't have a mint mark. This is super rare, which is why it's such a big deal, but wait, it gets even better. These 1963 no-mint mark pennies weren't just a random mistake. They were part of a very specific time in US coinage history. The US Mint was going through some changes and reworking their processes, and during this transition, they ended up releasing these unique pennies without mint marks. So, if you happen to find one, especially in great condition, it's not just a weird quirk of history, it's an incredible collector's item. Okay, now let's talk money. Why is this little penny worth up to $1,000,000? Well, like any rare collectible, it's all about scarcity and demand. The 1963 no-mint mark penny is considered an anomaly in the world of US coinage, so it's highly sought after by collectors. But the real kicker is the condition of the coin. The better the condition, the higher the value. Coins that are in mint condition, meaning no visible wear, scratches, or discoloration, are worth a lot more. For example, if you have a 1963 no-mint mark penny that's been preserved well enough to grade as MS-65 mint state, it could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. But the real jaw-dropper comes when you have one that gets a higher grade, like an MS-67. If you've got a 1963 penny that's been cared for like royalty, you might just have $1,000,000 treasure sitting in your pocket. Alright, I know you're itching to check your change right now. But before you start rating your coin jar, let me give you a quick rundown of what you should look for. The key feature of this penny is the lack of a mint mark under the date. So, check your 1963 pennies for this. If you find one in perfect condition with minimal signs of wear, you're in the money. Check for signs of wear on Lincoln's face and the words on the coin. If they're still crisp, that's a good sign. While there were a lot of pennies made in 1963, the number of no-mint mark pennies is very limited. So finding one is rare, but not impossible. So let's say you do find one of these magical pennies. You might be thinking, where do I sell it? Well, there are a few places you can go. Big auction houses like Heritage Auctions or even eBay can be great places to list your coin. But be careful, make sure you get it authenticated first. There are plenty of fakes out there and you don't want to be duped. Consider getting it graded by a professional service like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation (NGC) or the Professional Coin Grading Service (PCGS). A proper grading will give you peace of mind that your coin is legit, and it'll definitely help you get the best price when you sell it. I remember the first time I found a penny that could be worth something. It wasn't a 1963 no mint mark penny, but it was a rare 1943 steel penny. I found it in my grandfather's old coin collection and I thought it was just a cool old coin. Little did I know that penny could be worth hundreds of dollars. It was like finding a hidden treasure. From that moment, I started paying more attention to every penny I came across. If you're lucky enough to find a 1963 no mint mark penny, it could be your own personal treasure hunt payoff. The 1963 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is one of those rare finds that could turn your spare change into $1 million fortune. But like I said earlier, it's all about paying attention, doing your research, and keeping an eye out for those rare, valuable coins. Who knows? Your next lucky find could be worth a fortune. If you want more tips on coins that could make you a small fortune, make sure to smash that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on more of my tips on coins worth money and strategies to build your own coin collection. Trust me, you'll want to stay tuned for more. Hey there, fellow coin hunters. Let me hit you with a quick question. What if I told you that a single coin that you might have lying around in your pocket change could be worth over $1 million? Sounds crazy, right? Well, get ready to be amazed because we're talking about the 1971 mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin that's currently valued at a whopping $1.1 million. Yeah, you heard that right, million. Now, I know what you're thinking, how is that even possible? Well, stick around because I'm about to explain how this little penny turned into such a high roller in the world of coin collecting. But trust me, by the end of this video, you might just find yourself checking your pocket change more often. If you're into coin collecting, or even if you're not yet, this video could be a game changer. But first, a little personal story from me. When I first heard about coins like this, I thought it was all a scam. I mean, who would believe that a penny could be worth more than a new car? But after doing some research and seeing some of these coins sell for insane amounts, I was hooked. And I bet after today, you'll be hooked too. So grab a seat, buckle up, and let's dive into the fascinating world of the 1971 mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Alright, let's start with the basics. The 1971 Abraham Lincoln penny might look like any old penny you've seen before. But there's a reason why this one's so special and why people are willing to drop over $1 million on it. The key lies in the mint mark, the S for San Francisco. Now, a little history lesson. Back in 1971, the US Mint was cranking out pennies like they were going out of style. And the San Francisco Mint was no exception. But what made the 1971 penny stand out wasn't just the mint mark, it was the fact that it was a part of a particular batch of coins that ended up with some serious errors. You see, back in the 70s, there were a few hiccups in the minting process. Some of these pennies were struck with a die that caused certain details to be off, making them much rarer than your typical run-of-the-mill penny. A small error in the production process combined with the fact that these coins were produced in limited numbers is what ultimately turned this regular old penny into a serious collector's dream. But hold on, before you start running to your piggy bank, let's talk about what makes the 1971 penny so unique. First, the main factor here is the condition of the coin. While most pennies have been through the ringer and are worth next to nothing, the few rare 1971 pennies that are in mint condition can fetch incredible amounts of money. Now, I know some of you are probably wondering, how do I even know if I've got one of these $1 million pennies? Well, my friend, I've got your back. The key to identifying a high-value 1971 penny is to look for a few specific features. The first thing you want to check is the overall condition of the coin. A penny in uncirculated condition, meaning it hasn't been in circulation or spent, is more likely to be worth more than a worn-out one. You'll want to look for a shiny, almost perfect coin, free from scratches or signs of heavy wear. The real value comes from those rare ones with the minting error I mentioned earlier. There are some specific characteristics that collectors look for, like misaligned dies, double die errors, or even the occasional off-center strike. If you happen to stumble upon a 1971 With one of these rare errors, you might just be holding a treasure in your hand. Now, let me tell you about a time when I thought I had hit the jackpot with a coin that I thought was a rare find. A few years back, I found a penny that seemed a little off to me. It had some odd markings, so I thought it might be one of those valuable minting errors. I ran to the local coin shop, practically sweating with excitement, only to find out that it was nothing more than an old, well-worn penny with some normal circulation marks. My dreams of becoming a millionaire were dashed in an instant. But hey, that experience taught me a valuable lesson about the importance of checking your coins carefully and knowing what to look for. So, how much can a 1971 penny really fetch? Well, it depends on the coin's condition and whether it has any of those rare minting errors. But when one of these bad boys goes for sale at auction or through a private sale, it's not uncommon for them to hit values as high as $1.1 million. Yup, over $1 million. That's a lot of dough for a coin that you might find lying around in your spare change jar. How can I make sure I don't miss out on a penny like that? Here's the thing, coin collecting is all about being patient and diligent. Keep an eye on your change, visit coin shops or estate sales, and get in the habit of studying your coins. If you want to get serious about it, you could even consider getting a magnifying glass or a coin grater to help you spot those small, elusive details that make these coins so valuable. Also, don't forget about the online world. Websites, forums, and even Facebook groups dedicated to coin collecting can be a goldmine, pun intended, for finding out about rare coins and learning from experts. In fact, many collectors have scored big by joining these communities and keeping an eye out for opportunities. The 1971 mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is more than just a piece of pocket change. It's a rare treasure that could be worth over $1 million if you happen to find one in mint condition with the right errors. Now that you know what to look for, I'm sure you'll be checking your pennies more closely than ever before. Who knows? You might just have a hidden gem on your hands. If you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We're constantly digging into more rare coins and hidden treasures, so you'll want to stay tuned for more tips and strategies on how to turn your coin collection into something truly valuable. Trust me, you won't want to miss what we've got coming next. So, get out there, start checking your change, and keep hunting for those hidden gems. And who knows? Maybe the next time you find a coin, you'll be holding $1 million masterpiece. Hey, guys! Have you ever dug through your spare change, hoping to find something that could make you a millionaire? Well, hold onto your hats, because today we're talking about a penny. Yes, you heard that right, a penny. But not just any penny, the 1995 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. This little copper coin is worth a whopping $1.20 million. I know, it sounds like one of those get-rich-quick schemes you see on late-night infomercials, but trust me, this coin is for real. So let me take you on a wild ride through the history of this penny, how it can make you a small fortune, and most importantly, how you can spot one. By the end of this video, you'll be eyeing your change like a hawk, but before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button because we've got tons more coin tips and strategies coming your way and you won't want to miss out. Alright, let's talk about this rare coin. First things first, the 1995 no-mint mark penny. What's so special about it? Well, in 1995, the U.S. Mint produced a large number of pennies, but they were all supposed to have a mint mark to indicate where they were made, either Philadelphia, Denver, or another minting location. But somehow a small batch of pennies was released that had no mint mark at all. At first glance, it might just seem like a regular penny. But here's where it gets juicy. Those no mint mark 1995 pennies are incredibly rare, and because of that rarity, they're worth a lot of money. So, how do you know if you've got one? Let me give you some key details to look for. It's right there in the name, no mint mark. The regular 1995 pennies would have a D for Denver or a P for Philadelphia. But this special version? Nothing. Just plain old Abraham Lincoln staring back at you with no mint mark under the date. Now, here's the thing. You might think, well, it's probably just a small mistake. But in the world of coin collecting, a small mistake means big money. Because so few of these were made, collectors are paying top dollar to get their hands on one. As with all rare coins, condition is key. The more pristine the penny, the more valuable it is. If you find one of these pennies in near mint condition, you could be looking at that $1.2 million price tag. But even a penny that's a little worn out could still be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, so don't throw away any 1995 pennies just yet. I know you might be thinking, how on earth could a penny be worth $1,000,000? It's just a penny. And I get it, trust me, I've been there. In fact, I remember when I first heard about this coin. I was at a flea market with my buddy Rick and we were just chatting about coins. Rick's one of those guys who knows the value of a rare coin when he sees it, so when I mentioned the 1995 no mint mark penny, he actually pulled out his old coin collection. Sure enough, there it was, staring up at me like some ancient relic. He looked at me with that smirk of his and said, if you find one of these in good shape, you might want to start planning your retirement. Of course, I was skeptical. It's a penny, right? But that night, I did a little digging, as one does when they're up late watching YouTube videos, and sure enough, I found out just how rare these little guys are. Suddenly, I was obsessed. I started searching my change for that elusive 1995 penny with no mint mark, and I couldn't stop. Every time I found a 1995 penny, my heart would race a little. Was this the one? Now, you might be wondering, how do I know if I've got one of these $1,000,000 pennies? Well, first of all, you've got to check the mint mark or the lack of it. After that, check the condition. Look for any signs of wear and tear that would reduce its value and check the edges for any unusual characteristics. You can also get your pennies graded by a professional, which might help you determine the exact value. But trust me, even if it's not a perfect penny, if it's a 1995 no mint mark, you're still sitting on a small fortune. If you're going through your spare change right now, give that 1995 penny another look. Maybe it's worth more than you thought. It could be sitting right there in your pocket, just waiting for the right buyer. And hey, even if it's not worth $1,000,000, it's still pretty cool to have a rare coin in your collection, right? Coin collecting isn't just about finding that one in a million coin. It's about enjoying the journey, learning the ins and outs of the coin world, and discovering treasures you never even knew existed. And lucky for you, that's exactly what we're all about here on this channel. So, before you go rummaging through your couch cushions, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join us on this crazy coin adventure. Who knows? The next coin we talk about could be your ticket to the big time. Plus, you won't want to miss out on all the tips and tricks we've got lined up for you. Thanks for watching, and remember, every coin has a story and it's up to you to find the ones that are worth a fortune. Hey there, coin lovers. Let me hit you with a question. Have you ever looked at your change jar, pulled out a random penny, and thought, this could be worth a fortune? Now, I know what you're thinking. Yeah, right? A penny's a penny, right? Well, buckle up, because today we're talking about a penny that's worth a heck of a lot more than its face value, like, way more. We're diving into the 2001 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and trust me, by the end of this video, you might just be staring at your spare change in a whole new light. You're not going to believe what this little guy could be worth in the right condition. Spoiler alert, it's around $1.3 million. Yes, million with an M. Don't believe me? Stick around, because I've got all the juicy details and a fun little personal story that'll make you think twice before tossing any of your old pennies into the wishing well. You might be scratching your head right now asking, isn't that just a regular penny? Well, yes and no. While it looks like any other penny you might find in your pocket or on the floor of your car, it's the absence of a mint mark that sets it apart. Now, let's get a little nerdy for a sec. The US Mint stamps a small mark on coins to show where they were made. Usually, you'll see in D for Denver or P for Philadelphia on most coins. But in 2001, something weird happened. A batch of pennies came out of the Philadelphia Mint without that little P mint mark, making them super rare. Well, for one thing, it makes these pennies incredibly unique. And rarity, my friends, is one of the key ingredients in making a coin valuable. This particular 2001 penny doesn't just fall under the rare category, it's one of the few that actually increased in value over the years. Now, let's get to the real fun part, the money. If you've got a 2001 no mint mark penny in mint condition, meaning it's pretty much flawless, you could be sitting on a gold mine. I'm talking up to $1.3 million. Yup, million. That's enough to pay off a small mortgage, fund a nice vacation, or, treat yourself to a solid coin collection. So, how do you know if you've got one of these hidden gems? Well, let's take a look at the key things you need to check. First off, condition is everything. A beat-up, dirty penny from 2001 isn't going to fetch much more than a few cents, but a pristine one could be worth a fortune. You'll want to look for a penny that's shiny, clean, and, most importantly, has no obvious wear or scratches. A penny with a little bit of tarnish? Not great. A penny that looks like it was buried in the dirt for a decade? Not so much. But if it looks like it just came out of a coin press, you might have something special on your hands. Here's where you want to get up close and personal with your penny. The big thing is that it lacks the mint mark. It doesn't have that P for Philadelphia. This is what makes it stand out from the crowd. If you've got one of these puppies, take a close look at the front, the head's side, and check for the classic Abraham Lincoln portrait. Flip it over to the back where you'll see the iconic shield, and that's where you'll find the magic or the lack of it. Now, this isn't a coin you're likely to find lying around in your spare change, right? But I know it's easy to get excited about the idea of stumbling upon something like this in your daily life. I'll be honest with you, I've had a few moments in my life where I thought, this is it. I found it. But then I'd look closer and realize it was just a regular old penny that had been through a lot. It's kind of like thinking you've found a hidden treasure at the thrift store only to realize you've just bought a knockoff watch. But hey, don't get discouraged. If you don't find this specific penny, you might still have a treasure chest full of other valuable coins hiding in your collection. It's all about knowing what you've got. Speaking of knowing what you've got, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was at a local coin show just poking around and chatting with some collectors. One of the guys there was telling me about a penny he found in his grandmother's attic. He said he almost tossed it because it was just sitting there, all dusty and worn out, mixed in with a pile of other old coins. But something told him to take a closer look before he tossed it. Turns out it was a rare 1909 SVB Lincoln cent, and that thing was worth thousands of dollars. He'd almost thrown away a small fortune without even realizing it. That story always sticks with me. It reminds me that even the coins we take for granted, like a penny, could hold some serious value if we just take the time to really look at them. And I'm sure you've heard that old saying, one man's junk is another man's treasure. Well, in this case, one man's penny might just be his ticket to a cool million. If you find a 2001 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny in mint condition, you could be holding onto something worth up to $1.3 million. Crazy, right? But the trick is knowing what to look for and keeping your eyes peeled. The coin world is full of surprises, and who knows, your next great find could be waiting for you in a jar of spare change. Now, I know the odds of finding one of these pennies aren't exactly high, but I hope this video has got you thinking about the potential value of the coins you already have. The good news? There are plenty of other rare and valuable coins out there just waiting to be discovered. So, if you want more tips on finding coins worth money and strategies for collecting, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and hey, while you're at it, share this video with your friends. Who knows? Maybe one of them will find a penny worth $1 million and you'll be the one who helped them get there. Hey there, coin lovers. Do you ever find yourself rummaging through your spare change, hoping to strike it rich with a hidden gem? Well, let me tell you about a coin that's worth a whopping $1.4 million, and I bet you've probably got one of these in your pocket right now without even realizing it. Yes, I'm talking about the 1970 Abraham Lincoln penny. Now, before you start shaking your piggy bank and getting too excited, let's dive into how this little copper treasure went from just another coin to a valuable piece of history. Stick around, because by the end of this video you'll know exactly what to look for in your pocket change and how you can start hunting for coins that could turn your collection into a small fortune. Alright, let's break it down. The 1970 Lincoln penny isn't your average penny. If you've got one in your collection, you might just have a golden ticket. But what makes it so special? First off, it's all about the minting process. In 1970, the US Mint produced a huge number of pennies, but there was a bit of a mistake with some of them. It turns out that a number of these pennies were struck with what's called a double die error. Basically, this means that the image of Abraham Lincoln on the front of the penny was struck twice, which caused a little bit of a misalignment. If you've ever looked at a penny up close, you might have noticed the slight doubling of the text or Lincoln's portrait. That little mistake, my friends, is what makes these pennies worth a fortune today. So why does this make the 1970 Lincoln penny such a big deal? Well, it's all about rarity and demand. Coins with errors like this are in high demand by collectors. And when a coin is in demand and tough to find, the price skyrockets. A typical 1970 penny might be worth just a few cents, but one with a double die error? That's where the magic happens. $1.4 million, baby. Now, here's where I've got a story for you. A few years back, I was at a garage sale, the ones where people are trying to get rid of stuff they don't need anymore. I was scoping out some old coins when I stumbled upon a small jar of pennies. At first glance, they looked like the usual mix of old stuff, some worn out, some practically unrecognizable, but I was feeling lucky that day. I scooped up the jar, paid a few bucks, and went home with my treasure. Fast forward a couple of weeks, and I'm flipping through the jar, inspecting them one by one. And what do I find? A 1970 Lincoln penny, and not just any 1970 but one with that telltale double die error. Now, I'm not saying I'm an expert, but I knew enough to do a little research. Sure enough, this penny was worth thousands and possibly more if it was in pristine condition. It was one of those holy cow moments. And no, I didn't just keep it to myself. I ran to the local coin dealer faster than you can say Lincoln Memorial. The value of these coins isn't just about the error. It's also about the condition. A penny that's been through a lot of hands, stuffed in pockets, tossed around, might not fetch the same price as a well-preserved gem. Coins in mint condition, or even those with only slight wear, can be worth a lot more. So, when you're checking your 1970 pennies, take a good look at the detail on Lincoln's portrait, the lettering, and make sure the error is clear. The more pronounced that double die effect is, the more valuable the penny is. The real question you might be asking yourself now is, how do I know if my penny is the one? Well, here's the good news. It's not too hard to spot once you know what you're looking for. The double die error on these pennies is usually visible on the date, the word liberty, and sometimes on the motto, "In God We Trust." If you can see a noticeable shift in the lettering or the image, then you might just have a winner on your hands. Now, let's talk about how to actually sell these bad boys. If you do find one, don't just rush to eBay with a "for sale" sign. Get your coin properly appraised first. Take it to a reputable coin dealer who knows their stuff. And if the appraiser gives you that wow reaction, you know you've hit the jackpot. Also, keep in mind that even though a 1970 with a double die error could be worth over $1 million, the actual selling price can vary depending on the coin's condition, rarity, and market demand. It's like any other collectible, a coin is worth what someone is willing to pay for it.so. To recap, that 1970 Abraham Lincoln penny you might have lying around could be worth more than you ever imagined. With a double die error, it's not just a penny, it's a piece of history. If you've got one, or if you find one in your pocket change, now you know exactly what to look for and how to capitalize on its value. But hey, don't just stop with the 1970 There are plenty of other coins out there that are worth serious money, and if you've got an eye for spotting rare coins, you could be sitting on a gold mine, well, a copper mine in this case. If you found this info useful, do yourself a favor and hit that subscribe button for more tips and tricks on finding coins worth money and collecting strategies. Who knows? The next coin you pick up could be worth a fortune, and you'll want to be the first to know how to cash in.